Okay, so let's have the problem sample. So ito is on statics, ganun lang din naman. Okay, so yung degree of static indeterminacy nito, okay, bilangin natin. So dito meron ako ditong reaction. So I have here the reaction. So I will call that as point A, and then we will call it as point B. Okay, so we will be having here, I will call it this the RA. And then dito meron akong dalawa. So I have here the RAY, and then I have here the RAX. Okay, so dalawa. So meron akong tatlong unknowns. So ay lagay natin static indeterminacy. Okay, so for the static indeterminacy, so we will be having here three unknowns. Okay, ma-minus natin kung ilang rigid body. So meron lang naman tayong isang rigid body, and then multiplied it by 3 equations. So that would become equal to 0. Since this is equal to 0, so this is statically determinate. Okay, so pag statically determinate to, pwede natin tong isolve using the theory 1. Okay, so wala pa tayong other continuous beam. Okay? So, yung support natin on this part, for example, lalagyan ko ng drawing. So, that is your beam. And then, itong part na to, magkakaroon ka dyan ng reaction. Okay? Yung reaction mo dyan, since meron ka dito on this part, okay, na 3 vertical, 4 horizontal, pagdating mo dito, mababaliktad yan, ano? Because they are perpendicular to each other. So, ito yung magiging 4, and then ito yung magiging 3. Okay? And then, kung meron kang ganon, pwede ko rin tong kunin vertical. Okay? So, I have here, and then I have here also the horizontal reaction. Okay? So, para siyang dalawa, pero actually isa lang siya, no? Parang, it's supposedly, yung pinaka-resultant niya, which is yung the blue line, ito dapat yung pinaka-resultant ng dalawang reaction mo. Okay, so this one would become equal to 4 all over 5 of RA. Okay, while this one would become 3 all over 5 of RA. So ito kasi, ang kanyang hypotenuse is 5. Okay, next. Meron akong load. Okay, nandito yung load ko. Okay, na around 54 kilonewton. So, pwede ko rin siyang hatiin sa dalawa. So, I have here the vertical, and then I have here also the horizontal load. Okay, so this one, horizontal, would be 54, and then that would be cosine of 60. Okay, while this one is 54 sine of 60. Okay, and then meron din ako ditong, of course, reaction. Okay, somewhere at this point. Okay. Dalawa din yung reaction ko doon. So, I have here the horizontal, and then you have here, you have the vertical, and you have also the horizontal. Okay, so, iyan na natin. So, we will be having here the horizontal. I will call it as RBY. And then this one will be having your RBX. So, hindi natin alam. So, every, ang tawag natin ito? Yung pinaka-directions niya. So, lahat yan is assumption lang. Okay. Next. At this point, okay, meron din ako. So, around here, meron din akong 27 kilo Newton load. Okay. So, you will be having there. So, yung distances niya, so, we will be having here, okay, lahat yan. Okay, so, you have here 3. You have here 3, and then you have here 1.5. Okay? So, pwede na tayo ngayong mag-solve. So, we can take the moment at point A. Okay, so, pwede ako mag-summation moment at point A. Of course, that would become equal to 0 kung magiging equilibrium ka. Okay? So, unahin ko muna tong 54 sine of 60. So, it would turn clockwise. So, we will be having here positive for the clockwise manner. So, we will be having here 54 sine of 60. Okay? And then multiply natin by the moment arm 3 meters. Okay? So yung horizontal niya walang effect. Okay, pero itong RBY, so we will be having here minus, it's because it will turn your beam counterclockwise. So you will be having here RBY, okay, and then multiplied it by its moment arm, total is 6 from point A. So 3 and then plus 3. And then lastly, you will be having here plus 27. Okay, i-multiply natin yon by 3 plus 3, 6, so 7.5. Okay, and then that would become equal to 0. With this, you will now have the value of RBY. Okay, and then the RBY would become equal to 54 sine of 60 multiplied it by 3 plus 27 times 7.5, and then you divide it by 6, so you will be having here 57.13 kilo Newton. Okay? And then, pwede na ako ngayong mag-summation forces vertical. Okay, I will have it summation forces vertical. Bakit hindi ako nag-horizontal? Kasi kapag nag-summation forces horizontal ako, dalawa pa yung unknowns ko. No? So, I have here the RBX and then I will have here the RA. So, wala akong makukuha kapag ganun. So, I will have here summation forces of vertical. So, you will be having here yung pataas natin. So, 4 all over 5. Okay, so pag ganun yung ating positive. 4 all over 5 of RA. Okay, and then minus the vertical component of 54, so that is 54 sine of 60. Okay, and then you will be having here the RBY plus 57.13. Okay, and then minus natin yung load, minus 27. Again, that would become equal to 0. So, no other than loads. So, makakakuha na ako ngayon ng values ng RA. So, my RA would be 54 sine of 60 minus 57.13 plus 27, okay, and then multiplied it by 5 and then divided by 4. So you will be having here 20.79 kilo Newton. Okay, so meron na akong isang sagot. So I have now here the answer for first part, isang reaction. So I have now the RA. Okay, and the next, kung meron na akong RA, meron na akong RBX, dito na ako pwedeng mag-summation forces horizontal equal to 0. So, we will be having here positive to the right. So, we will be having here the horizontal component of RA. So, that is 3 all over 5 of RA. So, that is 20.79. Okay? And then, minus the horizontal component of the load, 54. So, minus 54 cosine of 60. Okay, and then I will now have also, my assumption would be minus yung RBX ko, so to the left, so that would become equal to 0. So with this, I will now have the RBX. Okay, so my RBX would become equal to 3 all over 5 of 20.79 minus 54 cosine of 60. So, nag-negative siya. So, minus 14.53 kilonewton. So, what does it mean? So, yung RBX ko, yung direction niya, mali. So, it should be 14.53 kilonewton, but the direction is on this direction. Okay? So, kung kukunin natin yung pinaka-resultant ng RBX, so, meron akong from this point, so meron ako ditong horizontal component around 14.53, and then meron akong vertical component, positive siya, so tama yung assumption natin, so you will be having here a positive value, so that would become equal to 57.13, okay, and then this one is 14.53. Alright. So, ito yung ating pinaka-reaction, okay, at B. So, that would be your RB. Okay? So, my RB would become equal to, so I have here my RB is equal to the square root of 14.53 squared plus 57.13 squared. Okay? So you will now have the reaction at B. So that would become equal to square root of 14.53 squared plus 57.13 squared. So you will be having here 58.95 kilo Newton. Alright, so this is now the answer for the reactions at A and then reactions at B. Question? Okay, so sample problem number 2, determine the support reaction for the beam shown. So this time, it is a fixed support. So technically, kung fixed support tayo, meron tayong tatlong reactions. Okay, so first reaction, so we will be having here this reaction. So tawagin natin tong point B. So sige, yan na lang. Sige, A na lang. So we will be having here as RAX. Okay, and then we have here the vertical, so we will be having okay, so we will be having here RAY, and of course we have the moment. So yung moment, kayo ang bahala kung paano nyo gusto. Okay, direction. So ako, I will assume my reaction to be on that point, so we will be having here MA. Okay, next. So, we will be having here support reaction. So, pwede ka mag-take ng moment na lang muna. Okay. So, for example, I will take the moment at point A. So, summation tayo ng moment at point A. Okay. Again, it should become equal to 0. Okay. So, dito tayo magte-take on this point. Okay. Unahin muna natin, meron tayong direct moment, which is clockwise manner. Basta clockwise manner natin, we will be having here as positive. So, you will be having there 400 kilonewton meter. Okay? And then, this 15 kilonewton per meter will induce a negative moment because it will create a counterclockwise direction on point A. So, we will be having there is minus. So, the resultant of 15 and then 6 would lie on this point. Okay? With the magnitude of 15 multiplied natin by the 6 meters. So, you will be having there minus 15, multiplied it by 6, and its distance from point A is 4 meters plus 4 meters plus kalahati ng 6. So, that is 8 plus 3. So, you will be having here 11 meters. Okay? And then another minus 160, and its location from the point A is 4 meters. Okay, and then I have a direct moment MA, so I will have it plus, so I will have it MA, and that would become equal to 0. With this, I can now have the value of MA. Okay, so you will be having here negative 400 plus 15 times 6 times 11, okay, plus 160 times 4. So I have now the moment, nag-positive siya, 1,230 kilonewton meter. Okay? So it means tama yung aking assumption na clockwise manner siya. So I have now one reaction. So that is equal to the moment. Okay? And then, we will be having here now, pwede tayo mag-summation forces horizontal. But on the forces, summation forces horizontal, again, to be equilibrium, it must be equated to 0. Okay? So, meron ka lang negative RAX. Okay? Wala ka ng ibang other horizontal force, so that would become equal to 0. So, it means that your horizontal component is equal to 0. Okay? So, meron ka ng RAX. Okay? And then, we can have also here summation forces vertical. So, I have here summation forces vertical, and that would become equal to 0. Okay? And we will be having here negative, okay, 15 multiplied it by 6 as the resultant of this one. So, minus 160, and then I will have here plus the RAY. Okay, so wala ka ng ibang forces, so that would become equal to 0. So you will now have the RAY is equal to, so 15 times 6 plus 160. So you will be having here 250 kilonewton. So this is now the answer for the next problem. Okay, so meron ka. Okay, pag ginawa mo yung result ng dalawa, yung RAX and RAY, wala 0 naman siya. So technically, the reaction is only the vertical. Okay? Question on that? So that is for the problem number 2. Okay. So, another problem. So, this time, this is a frame. So, basta wala akong bilog, doon kung wari hindi ako nagbigay ng bilog, so, ang ibig sabihin nun, fixed support siya, no? So, ibig sabihin yung joint na yun, naka-fix siya. Okay? So, determine the support reaction. So, pwede nating gawin, pwede ka munang mag-summation forces horizontal. So I will call it as point A. Okay, so summation forces tayong horizontal. Okay, that would become equal to 0. Again, positive to the right. Okay, so unahin muna natin, ito lang yung may horizontal. Okay, and then, of course, yung reaction natin, so we will be having here, I will have it as RAX. And then you will be having there the RAY. And then, of course, you will try to have it the moment. So, ang moment ko, so ang MA ko, I will have it counterclockwise. Okay? So, kasi, kung titingnan nyo, okay, para mas madaling mag-assume, kung titingnan nyo, because of this trapezoidal loading, okay, ang gagawin niya, papaikutin niyang clockwise yung ating, yung beam natin, So, kailangan may magbalik doon. Okay, that is a counterclockwise. Kaya, from there, alam mo na kagad na counterclockwise siya. Okay? And then later on naman, kapag nagkamali ka ng assumption, technically, babaguhin mo lang naman yung direction. No? But the value itself is correct, the magnitude. Okay? So, proceed tayo. Summation tayo ng forces of horizontal. So, we can have it as 2 kN per meter. Multiply natin by the total of 15. Okay? Wala na tayong iba, minus RAX. So, you will be having here equal to 0. So, therefore, you will be having here RAX, and that would become equal to 30 kilonewton. Okay? So, you will now have an answer for that. Okay? And then, we could also have here summation ng forces vertical. Summation tayo forces vertical equal to 0. So, we will be having here upward force as positive. Okay? So, nahin ko, meron akong RAY. Okay. And then minus, ito pwede nating hatiin. Hatiin natin. So, isang rectangular at saka isang triangle. Okay, so unahin ko muna yung rectangle. So, ang kanyang kanyang resultant is 2. Okay, then multiplied it by 9. Okay, and then yung horizontal mo, so kung 5 to, 2 to, ang matitira na lang sa kanya, yung pinaka triangle mo is 3 na lang, So, 5 minus 3. So, you will be having here minus 1/2. Ang base natin is 9 meters. Okay, ito yon yung 9 meters na to. And then, multiply natin by the 3 kilonewton per meter. Okay, and that would become equal to 0. Or, kayo, pwede rin, kung ganoon lang naman hinahanap nyo pala, let's say vertical lang, pwede nyo kunin yung total area niyan. Same lang yung magiging sagot, Kaya lang nating pinaghiwalay kasi although meron tayong centroid ng trapezoid, pero mas madali kung alam natin mas madali kasi alam natin yung centroid ng rectangle at saka centroid ng triangle. Kaya mas madali siyang paghiwalayin as rectangle and triangle. Okay? Pero kung alam niyo yung centroid ng trapezoid later on, okay lang. Again, yung pinaka-resultant nito is just the area of the load. Okay? So, we will now have the RAY. Okay? So, RAY natin, so that is 2 multiplied by 9 plus 1/2 of 9 times 3. Okay? So, you will be having there 31.5 kilonewton. Okay? So, yun. Meron na tayo nun. Yan. And then, lastly, so we will be having here the moment. Okay? So, we will take the moment at point A. Again, it should become equal to 0. Unahin ko muna ito. Okay? So, again, positive natin is on the clockwise manner. So, you will be having here 2. Okay? Multiplied it by 15. That is the resultant of this, or the area. And it acts somewhere at the middle of this one. And that is 7.5. Okay? Next. I will have it again plus ito munang rectangle ko. So, I will now have this rectangle. Yung resultant niya, so somewhere at the middle. Okay? And that is the resultant 2 multiplied it by 9. So, 2 multiplied it by 9. But its moment arm is kalahati ng 9. So, you will be having here 4.5. Okay? Next, yung triangle naman. So, yung resultant niya, parang ito lang din yan, So, you will be having here 1/2 multiplied it by 9 and then multiplied it by 3. Okay, kaya lang yung location niya, it's 1/3 from the 90 degrees. or 2/3 from the point, okay, or from the vertex. So since mula tayo dito sa point A, so we will use 2/3. Okay, 2/3 of 9, and that would become equal, may isa pa tayo, no? So I have here the moment. So yung moment ko at A is counterclockwise, so minus MA, and set to 0. So we will now have the value of moment at A. So that's around 2 times 15 times 7.5 plus 2 times 9 times 4.5 plus 0.5 times 9 times 3 times 2/3 of 9. So we will have the moments equal to 387 kilonewton meter. So this is now the answer for the reactions of this structure. Okay, so yung mga reactions kasi na yan, kung bakit natin siya kinukuha, susunod, okay, for example, kagitulad ng frame na yan, iyan yung ipang de-design mo ng pinaka-foundation mo. Okay, so kung ano man yung makukuha mong reactions dyan, iyan yung ipang de-design mo ng foundation. Okay? Ito naman, yung sa beam natin, okay, ano yung kamukha ng structure pala na to? Okay, yung kamukha ng structure niyan, kung makakita kayo minsan sa mga waiting shed, for example, yung mga waiting sheds natin, ano? Okay? So, yung mga waiting sheds natin kasi, mga nakaganon yun. Okay, ayan, mga waiting sheds. Ayan, siguro nakaganon lang. And then, ayan, nakafix yun doon. Okay. Tapos, eto, bubong yan. Okay, bubong. Okay? So, by tributary area kasi, okay, for example, kukunin natin itong frame na to. So, kukunin natin tong kalahati dito, tsaka kalahati doon. Iyon yung papupuntahin natin doon. Okay? Okay, yung load na to, this load, ito siya, yung 5 kilonewton, yung trapezoidal, ano? Kung bakit nagiging trapezoidal, gaya ng binanggit ko, it's either na may malaking load. So, depende kasi itsura ng structure, ano? Pero hypothetically, ito binigay na. Yung dito naman, it's because, let's say, meron kang wind load. Okay, yung wind load kasi, it's directed on this direction. Okay, so, kalahati ulit nun, and then kalahati ulit nito, pupunta doon. So, this tributary area, yun naman yung wind load na yun. Okay? So, kung paano siya i-design, okay, later on sa inyong steel or sa inyong concrete, yun yung ipang de-design nyo. Pero sa ngayon, ang kinukuha pa lang natin is reaction. So, kung kukunin natin yung reaction na to, ito yung nasa lupa na. So, ito yung pang-design natin ng foundation. Okay? How about this one? Okay. Ano yung kamukha ng structure na nitong beam na to? Okay. Minsan, let's say punta kayo ng mga malls, no? Halimbawa, meron kang malls. Malaking mall yan. Sample lang, ha? Malaking mall yan. Okay. Tapos may makikita kayo doon minsan sa paglabas sa main door, may mahabang canopy, no? Yung canopy yung parang nakaganon. Okay, may mahabang canopy. Okay, tapos bubong yan. Yung iba nga nakaano pa ayun yung meron dong mga, kung na-imagine nyo, yung merong mga tawag dito, mga cables. Okay, pero ito, yung ano natin, wala siyang cables, ano? So, wala siyang cables dito. Oops. Ayan, burahin ko. Okay. Wala yung cables na yan. Okay. Ay. Okay. So, meron lang tayo ito. Okay? So, let's say, ayan, marami yung beams. Okay? Tapos, i-design mo yung beam na to. Okay? So, meron ka ditong load. Okay? So, yun. Yung tributary area mo, kukunin mo yung kalahati dito, kalahati doon. Tapos, iyon yung dadali ng isang beam. Okay? So, iyon yun. Okay? Kung bakit merong cantilever na beam, it's because minsan, by aesthetic, ayaw nating magkaroon ng poste sa harapan. So, in lieu of that, kung gusto nating tanggalin yung posted on. So, we will make it cantilever beam. Just like this one. Okay? So, yung reactions na makukuha natin dito, ipang di-design yon kung paano niya i-connect yung joint na to dun sa column. Okay? So, iyon, gagawin nyo rin yon pagdating nyo sa steel design or sa concrete design. Kung ano man yung gagamitin yung material. Okay? So, that's it for the reaction of these two. Alright, so let's proceed with the next problem. So, determine the support reaction of the frame shown. Okay. So, this time, may nakaslant na members na tayo, no? Okay. So, kapag ganito, yung kukunin natin is, kung saan siya naka-perpendicular, for example, itong trapezoid natin, naka-perpendicular siya dito. Okay. So, kung kukunin natin yung kanyang pinaka resultant, hatiin ulit natin sa dalawa. So, yung isa, somewhere at the middle of this one. Okay. So, dun tatama, ano? And then, yung isa, yung triangle, okay, ito is para dun sa rectangle. And then, yung isa is para dito sa triangle. Okay? So, dalawa yung magiging reactions natin, ano? So, kunin natin yung length na yon. So, this length from here, okay, kunin ko yung perpendicular niya. And then, from there, so, ito yung kanyang distance. Okay? So, that would be our length L. Okay, so, unahin natin yung length L. So, we will having here the square root. Okay, so, yung x niya, we have 7.2 squared. And then, yung kanyang y is 3 squared. Okay? Or we have the length equal to Okay, so you will be having here 7.8 meters. Okay? So, pwedeng mong gawin, okay, para makuha mo yung slope, okay, kasi pwede natin kunin yung slope nito eh. Okay, so pwede mong gamitin yung triangle method, pero pwede mo rin gamitin, kunin natin yung theta, no? Okay, so kumbaga parang meron ako ditong triangle, okay, and then ito yung 3 meters, and then ito yung 7.2, and we are after for the theta. Okay, so yung theta natin, that is just tangent, arctangent of 3 all over 7.2. So we will be having here arctangent of 3 all over 7.2. Okay, or that's around 22.62 degrees. Okay? Now, kunin ko muna, i-drawing ko yung pinaka ano natin. Okay? So for example, ito yung aking rectangular loading. Okay? So itong rectangular loading ko na yan, meron yan, sabi ko, resultant, which is acting exactly at the center. Okay? So mula sa A hanggang doon, ang kanyang distance is just equal to 7.8 divided by 2. Okay? So that's 7.8 divided by 2, and that's around 3.9. Okay? Yung value nito, yung resultant niyan, it's just equal to 29.2. Okay, so 29.2 multiply ko by the length. Okay, kasi ito yung area ko na to. So this one, ayan, hanggang. So yung L ko is 7.8. Okay, so ito yung value niya, which is equal to, okay, so that's around 227.76. Okay, so pwede mong kunin, ikaw bahala, pwede mong kunin yung angle niyan. Pero, isang take note of this one, if your angle is located at this part, okay, which is on the horizontal, yun yung theta mo, pagdating mo dito sa load, since they are perpendicular, nandun na siya sa vertical. So, yun na yung theta mo, ano? Okay, so, but for now, we do not need that. Dahil alam natin that is the perpendicular. Perpendicular naman tong dalawa. So pag nag-take ako ng moment, walang problema. Okay? Next, I will try to have now the triangular loading. Okay, pinaghiwalay ko lang, pero that should be the same. Okay? So you will be having here the triangular loading part. Okay. Now, ito, that would be 43.8. Okay, then minus natin yung 29.2. Okay, so the resulting would become equal to 43.8 minus 29.2, so that's around 14.6. Okay, and then again, you will be having here, dito na yung resultant, pero yung distance niya mula dun sa point A, that's around 7.8 all over 3. Okay, so that's 7.8 divided by 3. So you will be having here 2.6 meters. Next, yung resultant nito, it is just equal to the area. 1/2 base 7.8. Okay, and then the height is 14.6. Okay, so yung area nito ng triangle mo, yun lang yun. So 0.5 times 7.8 times 14.6. So you will be having here 56.94 kilonewton located 1/3 from point A. Okay? So, since meron na tayo ng lahat ng yan, pwede na ako ngayong mag-summation forces or summation moment. Okay? So, I will try to have summation moment at A. Okay? Again, that would become equal to 0. So, meron akong una, yung pinaka sa rectangle ko. So, that's around 227. Okay, 227.76. Again, clockwise would be positive. And then, its moment arm is that 3.9 meters. Eto, no? So, that 3.9. Okay? And next, due to triangle, so that's 56.94. And then its moment arm is that's 2.6 meters. Okay? And then lastly, meron akong load, so that is plus 222.5. Okay, so itong load na to, at ang kanya is 7.2, okay, plus 3.6. So that's around 10.8. So 10.8. And then minus, okay, I have now here, okay, so RBY, okay, and then multiply ko yon by around plus 3.6 again. So that's 14.4. Kaya lang meron pa pala akong x dito, no? So para hindi ko pala yata mas-solve to. Okay, so ayan, katulad nun, kasi dalawa yung unknowns mo, mas maganda pala kung dun tayo sa pinaka hinge magmo-moment, ano? So sige, i-delete ko na to. Okay. So dun ako sa B magmo-moment para mas madali. Oops. Ayaw na. Sige na nga, ituloy na nga natin dyan sa, sa A. Anyway, pakita ko sa inyo para RBY times 48. Okay. And then, we will be having here, again, so ang assumption ko, pag ganito yung aking RBX, so minus, I will now have RBX, and then i-multiply ko yun by 3 meters, and that would become equal to 0. So, as you can see, okay, wala akong nakuha, kasi dalawa yung unknowns ko. So, I have the unknown of RBY, and I have the unknown RBX. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, we need to find for another one. So, pwede akong mag-summation forces horizontal. Ang sure ko, basta determinate yan, kaya natin yan kunin within 3 equations, no? So, we will be having here this one. Okay? So, madali lang to sana to. Kaya lang, kagaya ng sinabi ko, kukunin natin yung horizontal component nitong part na to, no? So, meron ako ditong theta. So, you have here the theta. Okay? So, parang ganito. So, yung triangle ko na yon. Okay? So, meron ako ditong resultant. Okay, kukunin natin yung part A. Okay, delete ko muna to. Okay. Next. Dito ko na lang pala ilagay sa taas para mas makita natin. Okay? So, assuming na ito yung aking resultant force. Okay? Ito yung aking 227.76. 227.76. Okay? Ngayon, kailangan natin yan i-component into horizontal and vertical. Okay? So, pag ganun. Yan. Ito yung ating theta. Okay? Take note that this is our theta. Alright? So, kukunin natin yung horizontal component nito, that would become equal to 227.76 sine of our theta. And our theta is 22.62 degrees. Okay? Same thing yung gagawin ko dito. Meron din ako dyan para dito sa aking triangle. So, that's 56.94. And that would be sine of 22.62. Okay? And then minus, I will be having here RBX. And that would become equal to 0. Okay? So, having so, magkakaroon na akong kagad ng RBX. So, that's 227.76 plus 56.94 sine of 22.62. So, you will be having the RBX is equal to 109.5 kilo kilonewton. Okay? So, meron na ako ngayong isang horizontal reaction from the B. Alright. So, ito, pwede ko na ngayon siyang substitute. Okay, isa-substitute natin doon. So, we will be having here substitute. And then, we can now solve for the RBY. Okay. So, for the RBY, we can have it as, okay, 227.76 times 3.9 plus 56.94 times 2.6 plus 222.5 multiplied it by 10.8 and then plus 3 multiplied the RBX 109.5, okay, and then divided by 14.4, so you will be having here 261.65 kilonewton. Okay, so ayan, meron na rin ako ngayon na para sa RBY. Alright? And then lastly, since nagamit na natin si moment, nagamit na natin si horizontal, we may take it now as summation forces, and this time that is vertical equal to 0. Okay? So, meron akong RBA, so I will be having yung unknown ko, so that's RBA. Okay? And then minus, okay, pagsamahin ko na yung dalawa, no? So, we will be having 227.76 plus 56.94. This time, cosine naman siya. Because ito na yung aking vertical component, ano? So, you will be having here cosine of 22.62 degrees. Okay? And then, minus ako yung aking load. So, 222.5 kilonewton. And then, i-add ko ngayon yung aking RBY. But my RBY, oops, meron na pala ako nun. So, RBY ko is 261.65 and that would become equal to 0. So, the only unknown is RBA. So, we can, RBA. Reaction at A. Oops, bakit ba? Okay. It should be RA. Sorry. So, ito rin. It should be RA. Alright. So, you will be having here RA. Okay. Okay. So, you will be having here RA equal to, so, 227.76 plus 56.94 cosine of 22.62. Okay. Then plus 222.5 minus 261.65. So you will now have this as 223.65. 223.65 kilonewton. Okay, so this is now the reaction at our roller. Okay? Again, yung roller natin, ano, kasi dapat yon perpendicular lagi dun sa ground. Kanina, yung ginawa natin naka-incline kasi, so yung reaction niya palagi dapat na perpendicular dun sa pinaka-surface niya, no? Okay, so ito yung magiging sagot dun sa atin. Okay. Let's double check natin. Okay. Okay, so ito, minus pala to. Sorry, minus pala to. So, this one, mababago. So, ito pakipalitan. So, yung RBY natin. So, instead, magiging 216.03 kilonewton. Okay, so, ayun. Minus pala yun. And then, you will be having here ito. So, papalitan ko to ngayon. So, this would become equal now to 216.03. So, mababago yung RA ko, no? So, I will now have the RA equals to 227.76 plus 56.94, and then that's cosine of 22.62 minus 222.5 plus 216.03. So my RA now would become equal to 256.33 kilonewton. Okay? So, that's it. That's the problem. So, yung pinaka-principle lang niya, kapag merong nakaslant, so, pwede nyong gawin, pwede nyong i-decompose, ano? Or, you may take this, kung dito ka magmo-moment, dahil 90 degrees naman yun, so walang problema kapag ganun, ano? So, that's it for this one. Question? Okay. So, let's try this. So, determine the support reaction on the beam shown. Okay. So, again, titingnan muna natin kung mag-i-indeterminate siya. Kasi kapag nag-indeterminate to, so, definitely, hindi natin siya kayang i-solve. So, check for determinacy. No? Check muna natin. For statica determinacy. Okay. Okay. Now, for the number of unknowns, so bilangin natin. So, meron ako ditong 1, 2, ito dalawa din. So, you have 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So, we have 9 unknowns. Okay. Ima-minus natin kung ilang rigid bodies. Ilan tayong rigid bodies meron? Isa, dalawa, and then tatlo. So, meron kang tatlong rigid bodies, 3 available equations, so that would become equal to 0. Therefore, this is determinate. Okay, so pag determinate tayo, pwede natin siyang ma-solve. Okay, so kapag meron kang internal hinge, okay, pwede mo siyang putol-putulin. Okay? For example, puputulin ko siya on this part. Okay? So, pag pinutol ko yon on that part, para magiging ganito na itsura niya. Okay? Tapos, meron ako dong reaction, that is my RF. And then dito, meron akong dalawang reaction, so that's my RE. And then, EX, EY pala, and then you will be having here REX. Okay? And then, of course, you have there the loadings. Okay? So, you have there the loadings na 3 kilonewton per meter na meron length na 20 meters. Okay? Since very symmetrical sila, okay, very symmetrical, yung REY at saka REF would be the same. Okay? So, paano yun? So, we can have it, the reactions REY n equals to RF, and it should be WL all over 2 lang. Okay? So, yung W natin, so that's 3 kilonewton. Ang L natin is 20 all over 2. Or that would become 60 all over 2. So, yung REY natin, oops. Wait. Kapal. Yung REY natin should become equal to RF, and that's equals to 30 kilonewton. Okay? So, ayan. Meron na tayong isang reactions. Okay? Dalawa. Actually, dalawa, no? And then, ang gagawin natin, okay, punta naman tayo, okay, pwede rin dito naman sa kabila, ano, hanggat maaari, may makuha ka kasi, kasi, kapag inuna natin yung gitna, what would happen to us is magiging maraming unknowns, no? So, dun ka muna sa pinaka-counting unknowns, okay? So, kunin ko tong pinakadulo na to. Okay. So, ito naman siya. I will change the color. Yon. And then, meron ka dito. Again, this is a hinge. So, kung hinge yan, meron ka dong RAY. And then, meron ka rin ditong RAX. Okay. Dito pala, since wala ka namang horizontal load, this would automatically become equal to 0, no? So, yung REX natin is 0. Next. For this one, so, meron din ako ditong RBY. Okay? And then, you will be having here, meron ka rin ditong RBX. Okay? Pero wala ka naman kasing any horizontal loading. So, ibig sabihin, kung wala kang any horizontal loadings, and then that would become equal to 0. So, lahat ng reactions mo dyan, automatic na mag-0, no? Kasi wala ka namang nire-resist on that directions. So, yun dun sa X direction, wala na. And then this one, yung pinaka-load natin, so, that would be 5 kilonewton per meter at the length of around 20. Okay? So, ganun din. So, yung RAY natin would become equal to our RBY, and that would become equal to WL all over 2. Okay? Or that's equals to 5, 20 all over 2. Okay? So, yung RAY natin is also equal to our RBY, and that would become equal to 50 kilonewton. Okay? So, we have now the second reaction. Okay? And then, lastly, syempre, meron tayo yung sa pinakagitna. So, ito yung mas, natin, yung pinakagitna, parang marami. Okay? Unahin natin to. Okay. And then, somewhere here, meron akong reaction, tsaka dito. Okay? And then, loadings. Okay? So, you have there the loadings. Oops, hanggang dulo na yan. So, this is around 3 kilonewton per meter. And then, this is 5 kilonewton per meter. Okay? And then, at the distance of 20, 50, and then 20. Okay? But I have now the reaction at RAY na pataas. Okay? Pagdating dito, ibababa ko naman siya. So, meron ako ditong RAY. So, that's around 50 kilonewton. Alright yun. Sorry, RBY. RBY. Ito yung point na yon. So, B. So, remember this point, which is B. Ito rin yung point ng B na to, no? And this point is RC. And this point is RD. And then this is actually the point E. So, pagdating ko sa E, meron din akong RF, REY, no? So, yung REY ko, again, that's 30 kilonewton upward. Pagdating dito, upward siya. Pagdating dito, ibababa ko na siya. Action and reaction, so that's equal to around 30 kilonewton. Okay? Ngayon, yung iba, since this one is 0, and then this one is also 0. Okay, so yun yung dalawa, no? Yung dalawang reactions natin. So, with this, pwede na ako ngayong mag-moment at point C. So, moment ako, point C, and that would become equal to 0. Okay, so let's take the moment at C. So, unahin ko muna yung 50, no? So, that is negative 50. Okay, negative 50 multiplied it by 20. Okay, and then ito namang rectangle natin. So, that is negative 5 multiplied it by 20. And then multiplied it by 10. Again, positive is clockwise, no? So, next, ito namang mahaba na to. So, yung 3 kilonewton per meter. So, we will be having here plus 3. So, 3 multiplied it by 70. And then multiplied it by 35. Okay? And then, minus natin yung ating reaction at D. And then, its moment arm is 50. Okay, lastly, so we will having plus 30. And then, multiply natin by 70 as the moment arm para dito. Okay, so that would be equated to 0. And then, we will now have the reaction at D. Okay, so we have negative, okay, so negative 50 times 20 minus 5 times 20 times 10 plus 3 times 70 times 35. Okay, and then plus 30 times 70. And then divided by 50, so you will be having here RD as 149 kilonewton. Okay, so this is now the reaction at D. Okay, so next pwede kang mag-moment naman at point D para makuha si RC, or you may just have it summation forces vertical. Pinakamadali. Okay, so we will have it lahat muna ng pataas na. So I will now have the RC. Okay, and then the RD as 149. And then lahat ng pababa. So, you will be having here negative 50 as the point load. And then, para dito, minus 5 multiplied it by 20. Okay, and the next, yung mahaba. So, 3 multiplied it by 70. And then, minus 30. Okay, so that would be equated to 0. Okay, so we will now have the RC. Okay, so for the RC, so that's equal to 50 plus 5 times 20 plus 3 times 70 plus 30, then minus 149. So you will be having RC as 241 kilonewton. Okay, so this is now the answer for the RC. So you have now the A, and then you will now have the BY. You have now the C, the D, the RE, and then the RF. All the horizontal reactions are 0. It's because wala naman tayong nire-resist na horizontal force. Okay? Question on that? Okay, that's it. Okay. So, determine the reaction on 3 hinge arc. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, sa statics natin, nagbigay na ako ng mga 3 hinge structures. Okay. So, ang ginagawa natin yung by through the actions reaction, pinuputol natin. Ano? So, yung determinacy niya, again, bilangin natin kung ilan. So, meron ka ditong 1, meron ka ditong 2, and then, of course, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So, degree of indeterminacy. So, you have 6 unknowns minus ilang rigid bodies meron tayo? Isa. Okay? And then, dalawa. So, meron kang dalawa. I-multiply natin by 3 equations. So, the total is 0. So, therefore, this is statically determinate. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kaya natin siyang isolve. Alright? Now, to solve for that, so, ang ginagawa natin, sabi ko nga, kung meron niyang internal support which is hinge, pwede natin siyang paghiwalayin. Okay? So, parang yung ginagawa natin nun sa statics. So, paghiwalayin muna natin. So, ito munang part na to. Okay? Okay? Then, lagyan ko na siya ng reaction. So, I will now have here RAY. Okay? And then, I will have here the RBY. Okay? So, lagyan natin ng points A, B, and then you will be having there the C. Okay? So, dito ganun din. So, pwede ka ditong mag-assume. Ikaw bahala. Ano kung paano yung assumption mo? So, let's say you have, you will be having this one is A. So, RBY, and then you have here RBX. Okay? And of course, yung load natin, ganun pa rin. So, kaya lang hanggang dito lang. Kasi hanggang dito lang yung kinoconsider nating structure. Okay, and then meron siyang 36.5 kilonewton per meter. And then somewhere here, okay, meron din ako ditong load. And that's around, okay, 14.6. Okay, now, kung mapapansin nyo yung load natin, na along with the horizontal, no? Okay, parallel to horizontal. Ibig sabihin yung kukunin niyang distance is also the horizontal distance. Wala siyang pakialam dito sa curve. Okay, so ganun ang ibig sabihin na no. Pero kapag yung loading nyo, for example, ganito yung pagkaka-curve, tapos ang loading niya is something like this one, okay, na nakaganyan, it means ang kinukuha niya dyan na dapat, okay, kung kukunin mo yung resultant niya, let's say, this is the X, ito yung kukunin niyang Y dapat. Okay? So, yung resultant mo dyan na R should be X multiplied by Y. Wherein this is the Y. Okay? Yung curve distance. Okay? Pero since naka-horizontal yung load natin, ang gagawin natin dyan is simply the horizontal distance. Okay? So, delete ko muna to. Okay. Oops. Okay. So, ayan. So, yung distances natin, ilan na to? Okay. So, that's around 10, no? So, you have here 10. And then this one is also 10. Okay. So, dito, pwede na akong summation moment ako, no? So, ang gagawin ko, kasi apat yung unknown, so technically, hindi to kaya ng isang method lang. I mean, isang equation lang. So, ang gagawin natin, kasi itong part ng B, parehas silang available, no? Kumbaga, part siya ng isang rigid body dito, part din siya ng rigid body doon. Ibig sabihin, you might not take on moment on that, kasi kukuha tayo ng isang moment dito. Let's say we take the moment at A. Unknown yung dalawa. Tapos, hihiwalay natin yung kabilang part. Dito naman tayo magte-take ng moment sa C. Unknown din yung B. Pero since isang point lang sila, equal lang dapat silang dalawa. So, ibig sabihin, makakapag-solve tayo ng equation on that, no? So, let's try. So, in short, kapag 3 hinge structure, okay, ayan, 1, 2, and then 3, no? Or 3 hinge structure, kapag ganyan, okay, huwag kayong magmo-moment dun sa point na common dun sa dalawang rigid bodies. Okay, so always take the moment dun sa pinaka-outer support. So let's have it on point A. Using this free body diagram, I will take the moment at A. So we will be having here summation moment at A equal to 0. So unahin ko muna tong 14.6. So I will have 14.6. And then, since naka-vertical yung kanyang alignment, so ang kukunin nating distance is the vertical distance, which is 10. And then, you will be having here 5 as the moment arm. Okay? And then, idagdag natin, so we will be having here the 36.5. Okay? And then, again, 10. Ito naman, horizontal kasi siya. So, take natin yung horizontal distance, which is 10. And then multiply by the moment arm, multiplied it by 5. Okay? And then, ima-minus natin si RBY o RBX. Okay? Minus natin. And then, multiply it natin by 10. Okay? As its moment arm. Ayun. And then also, we will be having here minus the RBY. And then, it's also 10. And this would be set to 0. So, ilipat ko lang sa kabila. So, I will now have here 10 RBX plus 10 RBY and equal to, so, pag samasamahin ko na lahat, 14.6 times 10 times 5 plus 36.5 times 10 times 5. So, you have now 2,555. Okay? So, this would become your equation 1. Okay? And then, what we will do, okay, yung kabila naman. Okay, so we will be having here this one naman. And then, you will have the RCY. And then, you will be having here RCX. Okay? Pagdating mo dito, dapat action-reaction, yung kabaliktaran nito, no? So, kung ito ay pataas, pagdating doon, gagawin mo na siyang pababa. So, that would be your RBY. And then, if this one, yung RBX mo, is to the left, pagdating dito, to the right naman siya. So, that is your RBX. Okay, and of course, we still have the loading. So, yung loading natin, horizontal loading na lang siya. Ayan. So, you will be having here that one. So, that's 36.5. Okay? And then, again, its distances, okay, would become 10. And then this one, it's also 10. So, I will now take the moment at point. Okay, I will take the moment at point C equal to 0. So, dito naman ako magte-take ng moment. So, unahin ko na si RBX. So, I will have it RBX. Okay, multiplied it by 10. And the next, minus RBY. Okay, again, multiplied it by 10. And then minus 36.5, multiplied it by 10, and multiplied it by 5. And that would become equal to 0. So, simplifying, I have now 10 RBX minus 10 RBY is equal to, ilipat ko sa kabila yung isa. So, that's 36.5 times 10 times 5. So, that's 1825. And this now become your equation 2. So, meron kang equation 1, meron kang equation 2, solving simultaneously. Dito lang na lang lagay, mauubos. Okay. Solving simultaneously. Okay? And then we can now have the RBX equal. So, solve ko muna. So, we will be having here 10, 10, 2555, 10, negative 10, 1825. Okay, so you have now 219 and it's positive. It means tama yung assumption natin. And then you will now become RBY is equal to, okay, tama rin, 36.5 kilonewton. Okay? So, parehas silang positive. It means tama yung assumption natin dun sa directions ng RBX and then the RBY. So, meron na ako ngayong sagot for the RBX and then for the RBY. Using this, babalikan mo ngayon yung dalawang free body diagrams mo para makuha mo yung reactions. Okay? Unahin ko muna dito sa part na to. Okay, on the first body diagram, free body diagram, I can now take summation forces vertical equal to 0. So, I will now have here the RAY. Okay? And then plus the RBY. Pero may RBY na ako eh. So, that's 36.5. Okay? And then minus ako nung vertical load which is the 36.5 multiplied it by 10 equal to 0. So, I have now the RAY. Okay? So, RAY ko, that would become equal to 36.5 times 10 minus 36.5. So, you have here 328.5 kilo Newton. Okay? And then, of course, we may have it summation forces horizontal. Okay, summation forces horizontal equal to 0. So, you will be having here 14.6. Okay, multiplied it by 10. Okay, and then I will have it minus RBX, which is 219. Okay, over here. And then minus ako ng RAX. And that would become equal to 0. So, I have now the RAX equal to 14.6 times 10 minus 219. So, that is negative 73. Okay, so that's negative 73 kilonewton. So, you will be having here the answer. So, okay, and then you will now have the RAY. Okay? Next. RBX is 219. Okay. Okay, lipat ko muna yung aking katawan. Okay na tayo on this part. So, what we will do now is we will solve for the remaining one. Kaya lang using this free body diagram naman, ano. Okay, so this free body diagram. Okay, sorry. Lipat ko lang dyan. Alright. So, using this free body diagram, pwede rin akong mag-summation forces vertical equal to 0. So, this time, meron akong RCY. Okay, na pataas. And then, kaya lang meron akong RBY na pababa. So, that's negative 36.5. And then, yung aking vertical. So, that is negative 36.5. Okay, multiplied it by 10. And that's equal to 0. So, you will now have the RCY equal to. So, 36.5 plus 36.5 times 10. So, that's 401.5 kilo Newton. And then, you may have it summation forces horizontal equal to 0. So, meron akong RBX which is equal to 219. Okay? Wala na akong ibang other horizontal force other than RCX equal to 0. So, you have now the RCX is equals to 219 kilo Newton. Okay? So, this is now the RCY and this is now the RCX. Okay. Now, sir, paano mo malalaman kung tama? Okay? Ang gagawin natin, to check it kung talagang tama siya, okay, gamitan mo yung buo. Pero this time, since pinagdikit mo na silang dalawa, hindi na ma-expose yung force dito, no? So, kumbaga dito lang, tsaka doon. So, tingnan natin. Yung horizontal due to load is just 14.6 times 10. Okay, so that's around 146. Okay? Ngayon, yung horizontal reaction natin, i-check natin. Yung RAX natin kasi is nag-negative. So, ibig sabihin, yung kanyang force, hindi talaga, hindi naman talaga ayaw. Napindot ko pala. Okay. Pag ganun pala dapat yung aking RAX, which is 73. And then, yung aking CX is tama yung pag ganito. So, that's around 219. So, dapat pag pinag-add ko yung dalawa, negative 73 plus 219, magsakto yun ng 146. So, pag pinagsama ko tong dalawa, okay, combine ko yan. So, that's around 146. Pag ganito yung direction. Okay? Tapos yung load ko, 146 din ng pag ganon. So, nasa equilibrium. So, ibig sabihin, tama yung nakuha nating forces. So, check mo naman yung vertical. So, yung vertical mo, it's 36.5. Okay, kunin natin yung reaction niyan. 36.5 times by 20 kasi dalawa sila. So, that's around 730. Okay. Ipag-add naman natin ngayon yung support. So, AY mo, so you have here 328.5. Okay, i-add natin yung CY. So, that's 401.5. And that's equal to 730. Ayun. So, pag pinag-add mo tong dalawa, so that is 730 kilonewton. So, in equilibrium, it means tama yung sagot natin. Okay? So, this is now the final answer for the question. Okay? So, determine the reaction this time at hinge at bilang ano. Okay. So, pinakamadali niyan, kunin muna natin lahat ng resultants, no? So, para mas madali natin kunin mamaya. Okay? So, let's have it. So, dito, yung pinaka-resultant niya, acting on this one, kalahati. Okay, so that's 3.75 multiplied it by the height of 4. 3.75 times 4, so that's around 15. Okay? So, yun dito naman sa kabila, okay, kunin ko yung resultant. So, that's 2.4 naman. 2.4 times 4. So, that's 9.6. Okay, basta nag-a-act siya sa gitna, ano? Okay, eto, kaya ko rin kunin yan. Okay, but first, dapat malaman natin yung length nung isang side, ano? Itong length na to. So, that's square root of 2.5 squared plus 2 squared. So, you have here 3.2. Okay, so this around 3.2 meters. So, that's 0.75 times 3.2 or that's around 2.4. Okay, 2.4. And then dito, ganun din. Kaya lang palabas naman siya. So, that's 3.3 times, okay, 3.3 times 3.2. Okay, so that's around 10.56. Okay, so next, itong dalawa, yung 15 at saka yung 9.6, walang problema. Okay, madali siya kasi naka-horizontal lang siya eh. Ang mahirap na gagawin natin is itong 2.4 tsaka 10.56. Okay, kasi nakaslan siya. Okay, so kailangan makuha muna natin yung pinaka-angle niya, no? So, pwede. So, one way, kunin natin yung ating angle. Okay, so, horizontal theta. So, kaya ko namang makuha yon. Okay, sisimplihan ko na. So, this one is just equals to tangent negative 1 of 2 all over 2.5, no? Or yung theta natin, that's equal to arctangent of 2 all over 2.5. So, that's 38.66 degrees. Okay? And sabi natin kanina, yung 38.66 na yon, kung nasa horizontal plane siya, yung pinakabubong natin, pagdating mo dito, baguhin ko. Sige, ito na nga lang. Pagdating dito, ito na siya sa ating vertical plane. So, iyan yung theta. Okay? So, para makuha natin yon, kukunin natin dito yung horizontal component niya. Ito yung sine. So, that is equals to 2.4 sine of theta, no? And then, yung vertical mo, ito naman siya. Ito naman yung cosine. So, you will be having here 2.4 cosine of theta. Same thing dito. So, meron ka ditong palabas. So, that's equals to 3.3. And this is the sine of theta. And then, you will be having here, pataas. So, that is 10. Sorry, this is not 3.3 but 10.6. So, that is 10.56 sine of theta. And then, you will be having here 10.56 cosine of theta. Okay? So, yun siya, no? So, ang ginawa natin, kinomponent lang natin. Okay? And then, of course, ito kalahating kalahati. So, yung distance niya mula dito, okay, sa horizontal na yon hanggang doon, okay, that's just equal to 4 plus kalahati ng 2. So, that's around 5 meters, no? And then, this one, kalahati naman ng 2.5, yung vertical mo, no? So, you will be having here 2.5 all over 2. Okay. Since meron na tayo, okay, so, pwede na tayo ngayong maghati. Okay. So, hatiin natin. Unahin ko muna tong isa. So, I will have this one. Okay. And then, I will now have this part. Alright. And then, lagay ko na yung pinaka-loads ko. So, sa gitna, ito kasi yung gitna mo. Okay, so dalawa yon, isang pababa, isang pataas. So, unahin ko na yung 2.4 sine of, you will be having here 38.66. So, that's 1.5. So, you will be having here 1.5. And yung isa is cosine naman. So, cosine. And that's 1.87. So, you will be having here 1.87. And then, dito mag-a-assume ako ng direction. So, I will be having here RBX. And then, I will be having here RBY. Okay? And then, dito ganun din. So, I will have it RAY. And then, try here, RAX. Okay? And then, dito meron pa pala akong load dito. So, that's around 15 kilonewton. Okay? So, distances nila. Okay? Pwede na tayo ngayong mag-summation ako. Moment. Okay? About A. And that would become equal to 0. So, first is the 15. So, you will be having here 15. Multiply natin lang kalahati ng 4. So, this distance is actually, okay, so from here hanggang doon. So, that's kalahati, so that's around 2 meters. Okay? So, you will be having here 2 meters. Okay? The next, I will have it plus 1.5. Multiply. So, yung distance nga niyan, sabi ko nga, this 5 meters. Okay? And the next, I will have it now the 1.87 plus 1.87. And then, I will multiply it. Kalahati naman ng 2.5. Okay? Kasi itong line mo na to, yung gitnang-gitna niyan, kalahati ng 2.5. So, you will be having 2.5 all over 2. Okay? Next, I will now have minus. So, you will be having here RBX. Okay. Multiplied it by 6. So, hanggang taas, 4 plus 2. So, you will be having there the 6. And then, minus, you will be having here RBY. And then, multiplied by 2.5. No other loads, so set to 0. So, rearranging, so you can have it as 6 RBX plus 2.5 RBY. Okay? And equal natin. So, 15 times 2 plus 1.5 times 5 plus 1.87 times 2.5 all over 2. So, you will be having here 39.84. So, 39.84. So, this is now your equation 1. Okay? And then, punta naman tayo. So, dito tayo sa equation 2. So, kunin natin yung kalahati. Okay? So, I will be having here this part. Okay? And then, meron din ako dito. Okay, sample. Then, gaya ng ginawa natin kanina, ilagay natin yung mga loads natin. So, dito, this is the 10.56. Yan ako na, no? 10.56 and then sine of 38.66. So, you will be having as 6.6. Okay? And then, meron ka rin ditong upward. So, that is cosine naman siya. So, 10.56 and then cosine of 38. So, that's around 8.25. Somewhere here, at the middle, meron ka ring 9.6. Okay? And then, assumption natin. So, we will be having here as RCY. And then, here is RCX. Okay? Dito, action-reaction. So, sa nauna, pataas siya. Pagdating dito, ibababa na natin siya. So, you have here RBX. Alright? And then, from the left side, pupunta na tayo dito. This would become, Y to. And this would become your RBX. Okay? And then, now, pwede na rin tayong mag-summation moment. Summation naman ako ng moment at C equal to 0. Okay? Unahin ko muna yung 9.6. So, you will be having here 9.6. Okay? Ang distance niya, again, parang ito lang. Yung 2 meters. Plus 6.6 Okay? So, horizontal component dun sa roof, and that is around 5 meters. Okay? And then, again, you will be having here plus 8.25. Multiplied naman natin siya. Ito, kalahati, itong part na to, hanggang dun. Okay, kalahati ng 2.5. So, that's 2.5 all over 2. Okay? So, next, we will be having here the RBX. RBX. Okay, the moment arm is 6. And then minus, you will be having here the RBY. And then multiplied it by 2.5. Okay, and then equal to 0. Rearranging. So, you can have it as 6 RBX minus 2.5 RBY. Okay, equal to, so the rest, ilipat ko sa kabila. So, that's 9.6 times 2 plus 6.6 times 5 plus 8.25 times 2.5 all over 2. Okay, so you will be having here negative 62.51. Okay, so this now would be your equation 2. Solving simultaneously equation 1 and equation 2. So you will now have the RBX is equal to, and then the RBY is equal to. So let's have it. So equation 1, 6, 2.5, and 39.84. And then you will have 6, negative 2.5, and then negative 62.51. So the RBX, okay, negative 1.89 kilonewton. So it means mali yung assumption natin, pero yung RBY natin, that's correct, 20.47 kilonewton. Okay? So ito na yung sagot. Ito na yung actually yung value ng RBX and then yung RBY natin, except that yung sign ng RBX natin mali. Okay? So, pagdating dito, pababa pala dapat yung RBY mo. Tapos, pagdating doon, dito pala is pa-left dapat yung RBX mo. Pagdating dito is left. To the left. Okay? So, this is now the answer for this problem. So, yung RBX and RBY. Okay? So, parang, tawag dito, yan yung ginagawa natin. Okay. Kumbaga sa warehouses, okay, madalas ganyan yung connection. Later on, kapag nagpunta tayo sa moment diagram, may ipapakita ko kung bakit nagiging ganun yung itsura ng warehouse natin. Ano? Okay, so later on yun. Pero sa ngayon, dito muna tayo sa pagkuha ng reaction. Question? Okay. So, for a simply supported beam, given a point load, kaya natin makuha yung reactions niya by just the ratio and proportion. For example, meron akong load P. Sample, lagyan natin ng values nun. Let's say it is 10 kilonewton. And then, meron akong total length, let's say, is 10 meters. Pero, yung A natin is 7 meters, and yung B natin is 3 meters, no? So, pwede ka mag-moment. Okay, walang problema. Pero yung pinakamadaling paraan, kung meron kang point load lang, you can have it this way. Okay? Ratio and proportion lang. Kung kukunin yung reaction ng A, ratio lang ng mas malayong distance sa kanya, which is the B, all over the total length. So, you will be having here B, which is 3 all over 10. And then, you multiplied it by the value of P. So, yung RA mo, and that's equals to 3 kilonewton. Okay, so you have now this answer. And then, for the value of RB, again, ganun din. Mas malayong distance sa kanya, which is 7. So, you have here 7 all over 10. Multiplied it by, again, 10 kilonewton. So, you will now have the RB equals to 7 kilonewton. Okay? So, ganun lang ang pagkuha, no? So, next, I will be having here another example using the ratio and proportion for a simply supported beam. Okay. So, find the reactions at this support. Gamitan natin ng, okay. So, yung pinaka-load daw niya, it is not, tawag dito, it is not a straight line, pero second degree curve. So, maybe it's a parabola that opens upward. Okay. So, yung loads niya, kukumputin natin. Okay. So, yung technique na gagamitin natin is same thing as this actual reaction from the simply supported, ano? Except that, okay, so meron tayong formula eh. For example, hanapin ko si RA. So, I'm going to solve for the RA. Okay? So, sabi natin kanina, the distance from the, yung mas malaya, no? So, what we will do is, kukuha tayo ng isang sample lang. Okay, kuha tayo ng isang point P. Okay, halimbawa ito yung point P ko na hinahanap. Okay, parang isang strip lang siya sa ating integral. Okay, so I will call that distance x. Okay, so hindi ko yun alam. So that is my x distance. And then, yung remaining dito, that would now become equals to 3 minus x. Okay? So this now would become my b. And this now would become my a. So, ang L ko, so that is B all over L multiplied it by P. Okay? So, yung B ko, that would be 3 minus X all over yung L ko, that would become 3. And then, yung P ko, yung point load na to, kasi hindi ko siya alam, but this would be the functions of P of X. So, lalagyan ko ng 2 plus 4 multiplied by X minus 3 squared. So, depende kung nasan siya, no? Kaya lang, hindi naman dito lang naglo-locate yon. So, dapat, parang simula yun dito sa umpisa hanggang dun sa dulo. So, it means, this would be from x equals to 0 to x is equals to 3. Tapos, sabi natin kanina, para makuha natin, kailangan makuha natin yung total area niyan eh. That would be the resultant eh. Okay? So, parang kinukuha yung area. Papalakarin natin ngayon. Kaya i-integrate natin siya. So, again, from x equals to 0 to x is equals to 3. Okay? And that now would be your reaction at A. Okay? So, we will be having here, madali na yan. Meron naman kayong no? So, that's 3 minus x all over 3 multiplied it by 2 plus 4 multiplied by x minus 3 squared. Again, from 0 to 3 meters. So, you will be having here 30 kilonewton. Okay, so this is now the solution for A. Same thing with the reactions at B. Okay, so yung reaction natin sa B, so you will be having here the RB. So, this time, that would be A over L multiplied it by P. So, that is yung A natin. This time, that would be your X. Okay, all over the L, which is 3 meters. And then, you will be having here the value of P. But the value of B is varying, and that is actually the functions of X. So, you will be having here 2 plus 4 multiplied it by X minus 3 squared. Okay, again, that is from 0 to 3. Okay, so you will now have the value of RB, which is equal to, so yun, papalitan mo lang naman ng X. So, you will now be having here as 12. Okay. So, this is now the reaction at B. Okay. So, pag pinagsama ko silang dalawa, yung 30 plus 12, total reaction. Okay, reaction. So, that is equals to 30 plus 12, no? Or that's equal to 42 kilonewton. Okay, lahat yun pa-upward. So, check natin. Okay, kunin nyo yung area nito kasi dapat yung area niyan, that would be the resultant, no? Okay, so paano nga kukunin natin y high minus y low, no? So, since ito yung y high mo, so integrate natin yan. So, sabi natin, y high minus y low, okay? And then, from x sub 1 to x sub 2. Okay, so yung y high mo, ito yung y high. Okay, yung y low mo, and that would become equal to 0. So, kunin natin yung pinaka-resultant. So, again, from 0 to 3, ang y high natin is 2 plus 4x minus 3 squared. Minus y low, which is 0. Okay, so check natin if the resultant should be equal to 42. Integral of 2 plus 4 multiplied by x minus 3 squared. So, 0 ups to 3. 0 to 3. So, the answer is 42 kilonewton. Okay. So, nagtutugma naman silang dalawa. So, this is downward. And of course, the reaction is upward. So, this is an equilibrium. Therefore, our answer is correct. Okay. So, for hypothetical loading like this one, you may use the integration. Okay. And by using the technique of reaction by proportion of simply supported. Question.